Hey guys, happy Saturday. What day is it? Yeah, Saturday evening. It's kind of late, so I'm just getting on here because I need to share some things that are really hard for me to start talking about, but I feel like it's super important for my healing in my shadow work, as well as exposing the truth. And in the last video that I did, I really talked about how we're kind of being shown this, um, you know, untrustworthy, like where people are saying one thing and doing the complete opposite. Okay. And so it's really important to recognize this in yourself and start speaking out about it, because that's how we can heal the entire world, is if you heal yourself and start speaking and standing up for your truth. And so that's what I'm doing here today. And it's really hard for me because there's so much that I haven't really talked about out of fear. Um, and that is exactly the problem, is that this fear and that people put, in you because of things that they do, for you to speak out and share your truth, it really is an illusion. And when you stand up and say what you need to say, there is no more power there. It's like you take back your power. Okay. So I'm going to tell my experiences that I've had over the last couple of years, and expose where I was doing the exact same thing. So if you guys know the law of attraction, it states that like attracts like. Okay. That is 1000% true. Now, our minds are wired to protect us, right? So when we have some nasty situations going on in our life, and we're like, oh my God, I can't stand this person because they're a liar, they're running around gossiping about me, blah, blah, blah. Well, like attracts like. So because you're triggered by that, you need to look at yourself and what you're lying at and where you're gossiping, because you've attracted that into your life to rise above it and heal it. So the things that I need to talk about are a little bit in the past, and I'll tell you where things kind of went astray for me. So this was 4 years ago, and it was my sister, and we no longer have a relationship, okay, because it just became super toxic. And that's okay. I'm not saying that it was all one-sided, because it wasn't. But what I do want to say about it is my truth. Okay. And so this happened 4 years ago. And I remember the night they were staying with me, her and her girlfriend at the time were staying with me in my apartment in Huntington Beach. And just a trigger warning, this might get a little graphic too. So trigger warning. But staying with me in my apartment in Huntington Beach, and there were some things that I was not okay with what she was doing in her life at the time. And that was basically spreading lies about her ex. And she was basically going around the entire small town that they all lived in and saying that he had raped her. And I didn't believe that. I believed that it was a smokescreen to cover up what she had actually done, the truth. Because isn't that why we lie? Because we're afraid someone's going to find out what's really going on underneath that. And so I called her out on it. And I was like, I'm sorry. I don't believe that crap. I believe that, yeah, there was a bad ending to a relationship because he just found out that you were having an affair with a woman in his house. And I'm sure it got extremely abusive, but I don't believe that. And of course, she went ballistic, and there was a physical altercation after that. But I want to tell you about the trauma and what happened after that, because this is the most important part for everybody to hear and understand. Okay, especially my two things that I need to start speaking out and sharing. One of the things was that, so we had a physical altercation. I went and I told her I need to stop because my 3-month-old was screaming and crying. And I went to pick her up to kind of comfort her. And she proceeded to try to attack me with my 3-month-old in my arms. And I defended that, and that was fine. And they left my house. I was so traumatized by what happened with that and me holding an infant that I kind of shut down a little bit. And honestly, like, I just kind of hid away. So what happened then is she had proceeded to go and start calling people and telling them the complete opposite, that I had attacked her and that I was on drugs. And my thing was, I had found out that she was doing that. And instead of speaking my truth, okay, I decided to not talk about it, to hide from that. And the problem with that is that, see, what she has been doing is going around and doing exactly what she does to self-protect. And that's spreading lies to all of these people. And, whatever it is, I don't really care. But that was never my MO. I didn't want to start going around and having to tell every single person she was telling to defend myself. But the problem with that is that me hiding away and not standing up and speaking my truth is basically the same thing as lying. Okay. And I didn't realize that was lying. I didn't realize it. I honestly, what I was so afraid of was her retaliation and what she would do to me if I spoke out. See, that's the real truth behind it. And I know that there's so much of this going on right now, and I want to speak out about it because it's bullshit. And I'm just so done with hiding the truth of these situations with this serious abuse, because it's not okay on any level. But I want to say that where I was so disgusted with what she was doing, because I'm like, she's a liar. She's going around and telling everybody all these lies. I was also lying, but I was doing it in a different way. I was not speaking my truth, not standing in my integrity. And that's the same thing she's doing. It makes me no better. But see, it's almost like we get on this kick like, well, they're better than me, so I'm going to just, go around and try to get everyone to believe that I'm better. Or on my side, I was like, well, no, I'm better. I'm not going to go and play that game. So I'm just not going to say anything. And unfortunately, that hurt me just as bad, not saying anything, because that is also hiding from the truth, is also lying and not standing up, not speaking out when you know you have something to say, that is considered lying as well. So, I knew that, and I have completely owned it, and I have changed my lifestyle because of it. And that's why I'm doing this video right now, because one, her and I no longer have a relationship, but I still need to stand up and speak this truth, because for me, it's just, it's calling back a piece of my soul that I lost because I hid from these things. I hid in fear. I hid in, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm just speaking my experience and trying to be so open and honest about my own faults, because I think that that's how we heal, is when one person stands up and says, you know what? I lied. This is where I was wrong. I should have stood up. I shouldn't have hid away in fear from this, because all of it was lies anyway. Why didn't I stand? And, I just encourage you in any area of your life where you maybe not speaking your truth out, whether or not people like it or not, it doesn't matter. That was my other problem, is I didn't want people to think like, oh, she shouldn't be saying that, or, oh, but that's where the whole fear came in with this whole thing. And it's just really sad on both ends, because see, we attracted that situation because we were both lying. And so you have to look at yourself and go, okay, I'm going to own this, and I'm going to switch it. So this is what I'm doing right now. I'm completely switching where I would normally want to hide these things away. I'm switching to be open and honest, and and speaking truth. You're confused in your life. It's been taking different turns. Yeah, I would say, okay, so right now, if you guys all know, we're coming into a new age, the age of Aquarius. Everything in the world is in turmoil, because it has to be, because we're really beginning a new restoration. And these things have to come to the light. And if they don't come to the light, it's like they're almost being forced to come out to the light. So you don't want that. You want to be ahead of the game and start speaking out on whatever it is you need to change quickly, to heal or whatever. And that's why I'm saying, pay attention to what's going on in your life, and don't play a victim mode. That's what I did. I hid in fear and then was like, why is she doing this to me? Well, because I was hiding and she knew she could. So she continued to do it. It's like that simple, Oh, thank you so much. I love listening to you. You bring joy. Thank you. That's awesome. You just brought me some joy, because I've been really kind of scared to speak out about this a little bit, because I've been so in hiding from fear of retaliation and threats. And I have more stories to tell, but this one really needed to come out, because it's like, it's not okay that I was not speaking up, and it's not okay that there was also lies going on about me. And not to say that, we can't control what other people do, but I can control what I do. And that is me turning a new leaf and starting to speak out about this type of behavior, because honestly, there's nothing to be afraid of. it is very scary to stand up to this energy at first. And there's a lot of that going on right now in the world. If you kind of look at every system that we have as a narcissist, and the control and the fear, and the people as being more of like the codependents, if you look at it like that, things start to make a lot of sense about what's going on in the world. And you can kind of unplug from it rather quickly if you can see the dynamics like that. Because, see, that's what I was dealing with, was a narcissist and myself being the codependent, but we have the exact same core wound. Exactly the same. There's no difference between the two. The same exact core wound, is that we don't feel that we're loved and we don't feel good enough. So everything becomes about control and having to take things or pleasing that person to get the love that we need. So, it's just, if you look at the system like that, they tell us what we have to kind of do. And if we don't do it, watch out. There's fear there, there's threats. And of course we want to do everything to please them, even if it hurts ourselves. It's crazy if you kind of look at the dynamic like that and what's going on in the world. So, it's I've totally been lying and hiding, not openly speaking lies, but hiding from being afraid of what other people think when I speak these things out. And I'm done with that. And so, it's just, it's really difficult to have to own the things that you do. And that's why we want to fight. That's why we want to go around and tell people all this other stuff to make us feel superior. Like, I'm better than her. See, look, I'm better. And when you realize that that's not necessary to get what you need, that is not necessary to do that. Because that's harmful to people. That energy is extremely harmful to people. Not only that, but when people find out that you have been lying to them, then you're completely dishonest and distrustworthy. And, how do you start from there? It's like having to rebuild from nothing again. And it's really sad, but if you see what's going on in the world, this stuff is coming out. So if you feel, and this video is for you, like, if you feel that in any area you have not told the truth of something that you got to speak it out. This is, the last video I said, if everyone just starts exposing these lies, it will be a massive wave of like, do. And that's why, like, for me, I'm done. And I'm exposing the lies that I held more in a public way, but also the lies that, came from other people. And you'll be able to see it in the integrity of what people say and what they do. And it's like, that's what's so important right now, is keeping your integrity and being so open and honest, and just not being afraid to speak out on what you really need to speak out on. So I hope this really helps. I have definitely some other stuff coming where I need to speak more of my truth and open up more, and just be vulnerable, and really know that it's okay for you to say that I make mistakes. I need love too. I need, what do you really need? Say that. The deception that we put over things to try to get what we need is what's killing people. It's not okay. Like, what do you really need? Say that. Don't try to make a smoke screen over it, or an illusion, or a manipulation, or lies. That's the true witchcraft. It's not people that use tarot cards or use stuff from the earth to heal. No, that's not it. Witchcraft is trying to create an illusion or a smoke screen over something that is the truth, to hide the truth. That's lies. That's emotional manipulation. That's narcissistic behavior. That's all that good stuff. That's what that stuff does. So I think it's really funny how these systems of control have made us all believe these certain things, how the world actually is. And I'm talking about church, religion, government, schools. And the problem with it is there's so much manipulation and lies and corruption over it that we don't know what to believe. We're all codependent on these systems. And now that truths are being exposed and they're really coming out, that these systems were never what you thought they were, it's really going to be a shock to everyone's system. So be prepared for that. Definitely look at the system as more of the narcissist and the people as more of like the codependent. And if you can see it like that, you can see where you're doing that in some of these systems. Because honestly, the human law is not what stands. It is universal law that stands. And you can see that pretty clear and evident now, how quickly they're changing laws and regulations. It's completely hypocritical. It's crazy how hypocritical it is. It doesn't even make sense, right? If you really look at it, they're changing things so drastically. Marijuana is illegal in, 10 states, but in all the rest it's legal. So if I'm standing on this side of the state, I'm cool and I can smoke pot. But if I'm standing on this side of the state, I'm a felon and I should be thrown in jail. What? Does that make any sense? No. It's almost like you're a different human being if you step across a state line. What is that? Can you even feel the value in yourself with that? Like, that's crazy talk. So what truly stands is universal law. And when you know the universal laws, then that is where you hold your power in your hands. Truth is power. When a lot of spiritual people say love and light, well, light means truth, and truth necessarily does not feel great. But truth and love it's very kind, but you're speaking the truth. And, yeah, there's just so much deception on things, and we try to hide to self-protect, and doing that is not beneficial. It's giving away your power, and It's really time to start taking these things back. And it just starts with one person who is willing to stand in this awkward place and say, like, here's what really happened, but also I'm going to tell you I am no better than this situation and I did the exact same thing. However, I'm owning it and I'm taking responsibility for what I did, and I'm changing my behavior because it's no longer good for me. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great night. I just needed to speak this out, and I have some more kind of soul lessons through my experience that I'll be sharing. But I love you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Try to stay as centered and grounded as you can, away from a lot of the media, because it is woohoo filled with anxiety. So have a great night, you guys. I will see you guys soon. Bye.